Tonight from Vermont, the independent, who has been very clear on this issue all along. Senator, we got an earful from the president. We ran it unedited on this program because we wanted to make sure his side of the story got out and the corporate side of the story got out. He said that there are enforceable labor and environmental provisions in the TPP. What does he mean? How enforceable are they? Your take.
Well, we've heard that, Ed, for almost every trade agreement that's come down the pike, and yet you have workers being exploited all over the world. It takes years before their concerns are being heard. I think the first point to make about this trade agreement is to look at whose side multinational corporations are on this. How do the drug companies feel about this? How does Wall Street feel about it? All of the multinationals believe this is a great agreement for good reasons. They're going to make a whole lot of money out of that. Meanwhile, as you indicated, virtually every trade union in this country is in strong opposition to it. Just the other day, I and a few of us spoke before the 1,000 steelworkers on this issue. So you got working people on one side, you got corporate America on the other side. Second of all, if you look at the history of trade agreements, there is a reason why we have lost 60,000 factories in this country since 2001 and millions of decent-paying jobs. And there is a reason why most of the new jobs being created are low-wage, part-time service industry jobs. And that's because major corporation after major corporation has shut down in America. They've gone to China, they've gone to Vietnam, they've gone to Mexico to hire low-wage labor and then bring their products back into this country. I have been involved and opposed to NAFTA, CAFTA, permanent normal trade relations with China. I've heard it over and over again, how great these agreements are, and yet what they have ended up doing is hollowing out the middle class of this country. But in addition to all of that, you got another factor, and that is you have, as a result of this agreement, if it's passed, you're going to have corporations being able to sue governments, federal, local, state, in America, around the world, because they're trying to do the right thing in terms of public health or in terms of the environment. And the corporations will have the right to say, hey, you are limiting my ability to make money. And that's what this agreement is about, maximizing corporate profits. So you have a case which could be similar under TPP, where Uruguay, a little country, is being sued by Philip Morris. Why? Because they don't want their kids getting hooked onto cigarettes, because profits are more important than human needs. You have Doctors Without Borders, one of the heroic groups in the world, going to treat poor people all over the world. They are saying this agreement is terrible because it will raise pharmaceutical prices in low-income countries, because corporations, the pharmaceutical industry, will be able to maintain their patents and countries will not be able to go into generic drugs. So you look at all of those factors, and it is very disappointing that President Obama is on the wrong side of this, that Hillary Clinton has not spoken out strongly in defense of working people on this issue.
President Obama said that we don't write trade rules, that China will be writing the trade rules. What's your response to that?
My response is we are the largest economy in the history of the world, and every single night corporations are on television telling us, buy this product, buy that product, buy that product. Do you think that as a nation we don't have the capability of saying to those corporations, if you want us to buy those products, how about manufacturing them here in America and not in China? How about putting our people back to work? One of the reasons, Ed, that the middle class has declined is that we have seen massive declines in manufacturing and manufacturing jobs. It is terribly important we rebuild our manufacturing base, and you don't do that with these terrible trade agreements.
Senator Bernie Sanders, good to have you with us tonight. I appreciate your time. And I have to ask you, does this issue, now that you've heard President Obama and now that you've heard the statement that Hillary Clinton's camp put out tonight saying that she's going to be watching this closely, it was a non-position position, really. It was not for or against, you know. I mean, it was rather political. It was political speak. It was generic.
Ed, there's nothing.
Does this bring you any closer to a decision?
Well,
yeah. Does this bring you any closer to a decision?
Closely. I will make a decision within the next few weeks, yes. And this is a key issue. If I run, trade is a central part of a campaign.
Senator, good to have you with us tonight. Remember to answer tonight's question at pulse.msnbc.com/ed. We'll have the results right after.